What a sight. Making a list of the all-time players in the NBA will undoubtedly include Stephen Curry. His impact on the game, along with all that winning, is just unmistakable. But the one thing that's eluded him during his illustrious career is that Finals MVP trophy. But now that box has also been checked. Stephen Curry has literally done it all. So what does all of this mean to him? Malinka Andrew found out after the game last night.
The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The fourth title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
It was you and Clay and Draymond Green. And you guys added another superstar in Kevin Durant, and then he's since departed. And then once again, it was you and Clay and Draymond Green. At what point did you kind of look at them and say, oh yeah, here we go, full circle?
I think we did that in the first round. When I knew I was coming back from my foot injury, and I think somebody mentioned that, you know, when us three, when we start every game of a series, we have not been beaten. And that's all the reminder we needed of, you know, who we are as a trio, what we all bring to the table, and how we can kind of help lift, you know, all of our guys that need to play a huge part in us winning. You know, 3 old guys that are champs once again.
Curry a long three. It's good! Steph Curry from way downtown. Some Curry chaos. At 34 years old, still magic on the basketball court.
There's a video of you when you're holding the Larry O'Brien trophy for the first time, and you look at it and you say, it's even shinier in person. And now you have a new trophy. I mean, is that one even shinier in person?
Absolutely. I've seen it up close and personal with Andre and KD twice, but to have one for myself and, you know, enjoy that moment. That moment is unlike anything else. And Coach Curry, his favorite line is, that's why we pour champagne on each other when it's all said and done, because it's freaking hard what we do. And, you know, that moment deserves every bit of joy and celebration. So to even just have the opportunity to play for the Larry O'Brien trophy again and now have one of these, I've been saying it for the last hour. Like, what they gonna say now? What they gonna say now? This is crazy.
Now that you're holding it and that you have it, did it matter to you?
You know, this year I knew if we were gonna be in a position to win a championship that I would have to elevate to another level that I, you know, haven't really experienced before, and so that was the motivation.
Golden State Warriors once again the standard in the NBA.
You're a 4-time champion. You're a Finals MVP. You're a 2-time league MVP. What's left?
Grant Hill reminded me that I don't have an Olympic gold medal, and now that he's running Team USA, he's putting that recruiting tip out for 2024. Told a couple of young guys that were on the podium, I was like, well, we're just getting started. You know, just trying to drop that little seed of, you know, this is amazing, but we can be even better next year. That's not just me just spewing out just nothing. I think we really have the opportunity to keep running this thing back.
And it really feels like they do, with all that youth that didn't see much playing time throughout this postseason. Talk about joining the elite.
Is winning Finals MVPs, whether it's Andrew Wiggins as a supporting cast member, and yet his greatness has been so profound. If you're going to be one of the top 10 players of all time, you have to win a Finals MVP. He knows it, you know it, and I know it. And it was great to see him celebrate that and also understand the assignment. He made sure it wasn't going to be no gray area.
Yep.
Ain't going to be nobody voting for Andre Iguodala. Ain't going to be nobody voting for Wiggins. We're going to make sure we close the deal. And I just appreciate how professionally he always goes about his business and yet still finds a way to elevate himself and his teammates when it matters the most.
You know, I'm glad you brought up Iggy's name, Andre Iguodala, the MVP of the Finals back in 2015, their first title. That's how much different, how tough it's been for Steph to get that medal. This core Warriors team, though, Jalen, has just been through so much, from the departure of Kevin Durant, the 2 years, the lost with Klay Thompson injured. How about 15 wins total just 2 years ago? And now this, the roller coaster. Talk about perspective. That's one thing Steve Kerr focused on last night after they won. Listen to this real quick.
I think this one may have been the most unlikely, just from the standpoint of where we've been the last couple of years. A lot of unknowns with injuries to to Clay, Draymond at the end of the year, Steph at the end of the year?
Oh, man. I was feeling absolutely incredible. I was feeling just so high on life that I did not want to leave the stage. And I just know how hard this is. And to be here for a fourth time, I'm so grateful for my teammates.
It's just about getting back to these moments and winning, and we know what that feels like. We rely on each other for what we're great at, and it still has not been proven when we hold, and anybody can stop it.
Jalen Rose, 4 titles in 8 years, and in particular after the last 2 years being so down, this is incredible. How do you put into perspective what this Warriors franchise has done?
I'm glad you said franchise, Sage, because actually I'm old enough to remember when they were trading Monte Ellis, their owner was standing at half court, and my OG Chris Mullin needed to console him and tell the fans to calm down because they were trading him so they could elevate Steph Curry. And Steph Curry having injuries earlier in his career allowed them to pay him less than he actually deserved based on his other counterparts around the league. For example, like a Damian Lillard, who's also an NBA, all-NBA player. So it allowed them to build out their roster. And when KD left, they did a sign and trade with him. They got D'Angelo Russell. They parlayed him for Andrew Wiggins. So time and time again, when injuries happen, Steph early and then Clay, they built their roster from within. You have Poole become a Six-Man of the Year candidate and a really productive player. Gary Payton II becomes a rotation player. And imagine, their lottery picks, Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody, they didn't even really play this series. So they appreciated their position as 3-time champions, now 4, but they plotted their promotion with Bob Myers as a president, Steve Kerr as a head coach who has 9 championships as a player and a coach, and now nurtured a team that can now usher itself into a future while Draymond Green and the Splash Brothers are still on the roster. It was masterfully done, and it's something that the Western Conference is still going to have to deal with for years to come.
How about that ownership? Peter Guber, Joe Lacob at the top, giving Bob Myers the green light to do what he does, frankly, like nobody else has been able to do over the last decade, basically. Jalen, don't go anywhere. We got to talk about the Boston Celtics now. Matt?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, Sage, as we recap the Celtics season, January 6th, it's been a remarkable run for them. Boston 3 games under 500, 11th in the East. They turned it around. Since then, they went 33-10 and jumped all the way up to the 2 seed in the East. To get to the finals, they swept the Nets in the first round, beating the reigning champs in Game 7 of the conference semis, the Bucks, and then took down the 1-seeded Heat in 7 games. So they got through a tough grid. The Celtics' Achilles heel, though, taking care of the ball. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined for 174 turnovers, which is the second most by a duo in a postseason since they were first tracked in 1978. After the